Welcome, ladies and gentlemen of the beloved Kyber Empire. Let me say something. It is great to be in this Kyber Empire today, but holy cow, it's gonna be a lot better for those on Dathomir. Today, we knew it was coming. Merrin's one of the requirements for the brand new Cal Kestis Journey variant. Holy cow, Merrin's gonna be bringing these babies to the next level. And I know a lot of people have been complaining about Trench being Territory War Omicron. We're talking Grand Arena design. And I think that's some language that you and I are really into. Let's go look at this kit reveal. Very excited about this. I gotta say, this is definitely one of the more complicated kits, but luckily we're here live in front of billions right now. We spent some time breaking this down together. Still some questions up in the air, but long story short, let's summarize it in a few ways. Protection recovery, lots of plague, and Merrin's got instant defeat immunity, and that's huge against Mandalorian, I guess Commander Tano, and in things like Nihilus as well. And Assage Ventures Omicron is gonna be, yeah, quantum physics kit. That's what the chat's saying right now. Let's not keep you in too much more suspense. Support character, Nightsister character, Dark Side. Some people are like, why is she Dark Side? Their argument was they want to make sure she's usable in the territory battles. I assume they could have made her neutral. Is she neutral? That's probably up for debate. I think people would probably argue maybe she's more of a light side after we saw the story. But this is our first encounter with Merrin when we're inside of Jedi Fallen Order. Nothing to point out. I didn't see anything about it, but if you do notice, Nice Zombie got a nice face and a little bit of a glow up. Looks really cool. Almost looks like it doesn't even belong in this game. No word if there's a Nice Zombie rework. I suspect there's not, because this is plenty of rework stuff that we got going on. So let's look at the basic ability. Already off to a fantastic start. E-Core Bolt deals special damage to the target enemy and inflict 2 stacks of plague for 3 turns. Besides Mother Talzin, who can add another plague if you already have plague. This is fantastic because it just applies the plague right away. And when you're doing swarm attacks, for example, with Mother Talzin, yeah, this is gonna be quite deadly. Spoiler alert as well, speaking of Mother Talzin, looks like we're not getting a lead here, so I'm assuming Mother Talzin still gonna be the go-to lead for this particular team. Now, this is controversial. I was really ticked about this. The chat was really ticked about it. This special ability, Shadow Stride, with a cooldown of 3 and a Zeta. It's the first ability that's gated behind Gear 12. Now, the pessimist in me that occasionally comes out was worried they're trying to shut down the incentive to try making low star characters work, because you can't get the Gear 12 unless you're at 7 stars. And that is true here, and I'm sure there might be a small belief in that. But the reason why this is unlocked the Gear 12 is they're trying to stop a paper zombie under gear situation. Maybe it makes sense. I think they could have went about this a completely different way. I'm hoping it's just a one-time thing. So I would say it's upsetting, but as long as this isn't the standard going forward, I'll let this slide. But it's still upsetting because this is a big ability right here. Inflict 2 stacks of plague on all enemies for 3 turns. Holy cow, great, another AoE plague. Very similar to Mother Talzin. And you got 10% health and protection recovery. Holy moly, mazzacholi. Then Merrin dispels all buffs, debuffs on herself, and gets a brand new ability called Magic Stealth. It's kind of like a... this next part's gonna read kind of like unique ability. The next time another ally is inflicted with the debuff or defeated, Merrin loses Magic Stealth. Dispels all debuffs on all allies, a passive cleanse ability, and then she revives a random Nightsister ally with 50% health. So we have a second revive on this team aside from Old Daka. That's gonna maximize the cheese potential this has. Now you might be asking yourself, what does Magic Stealth do? Luckily, you're in the presence of the King of Triple B Gods against mobile gaming. We'll tell you. Can't be targeted, defeated, damaged, or gain turn meter. It's a little confusing. I'll explain a bit more. Turn meter is weird. I think, long story short, others can't manipulate her turn meter, but she can manipulate her own turn meter. When we get to unique abilities, it'll make a lot more sense. She's immune to buffs, debuffs, and taunt effects. And if no allies are present, you lose Magic Stealth. So kind of think of it like a Hermit Yoda C-3PO, but she's not leaving the battle. She just can't get Magic Stealth anymore and run this magical revive train that she's got going on over there. It's gonna make more sense. Let's keep reading the rest of this. We have another special here. Dathomir will be your grave, and they spelled out Malicos for the first time inside of their little Q&A section. I'm hoping Malicos shows up at one point or another. There is going to be a special mission on Dathomir, they said, with Merrin, but they didn't say it's going to have Malicos. But boy, would I be happy if Malicos was a unlockable character. I mean, Reva's a little debatable about how powerful Conquest character should be. Anyways, let's just keep on moving. Dathomir will be your grave. Another great thing here. This deals special damage to the target enemy and stun them. There's already a lot of stuns. Nice is a spirit special. Daka basic. Assage Ventures basic. We got another stun here. If this defeats the target enemy, inflict 4 stacks of plague on all enemies for 3 turns. There's just so much plague baked into this kit here. Dispel buffs on each enemy with 2 or more stacks of plague. I'm guessing that's not going to be very complicated to pull off, so long as you're not having any tenacity issues on the other team. So again, plague on basic, plague here, plague there. Wow, and we still have even more plague. Don't you worry. If you thought this wasn't enough plague, we got you covered. Unique abilities, again, no leadership on this. We do have an Omicron, and it's I feel like I might be wrong. I get so much more excited when I see Grand Arena than Territory Wars. I'm actually kind of sad. I'm lacking Omicrons because I've been dumping so many in Territory Wars, and it's like, I'd rather have this. Anyways, Omicron unlocks that gear for last of the Nightsisters. The first time a Nightsister ally is defeated each encounter. All right, this is where things are gonna get a little crazy. Stay with me, a little bit mental gymnastics. I don't even know if I fully understand it, but I kind of understand it. So the first time a Nightsister ally is defeated each encounter, Merrin's gaining 100% turn meter, which can't be prevented. Whenever a Nightsister ally is defeated or revived, Merrin gains 15% plus an additional 2% per relic amplifier level of the defeated or revived character. So let's reread that. Plus 50% turn meter plus a little bit more, which can't be prevented. So we're kind of in a weird situation, right? She can't gain turn meter, but she can gain turn meter, especially this next part. While Merrin has allies, her speed is set to 0, and she's immune to turn meter gain and removal. So this already seems like we're kind of in a weird situation because it's saying the turn meter gain can't be prevented, but now it's saying she's immune to turn meter gain and removal. The way the developers described it is that she can manipulate her own turn meter. It's just the others, like, I don't know, someone else pulling back turn meter, Mother Towels, and maybe feeding turn meter from the, all these things that go on that can possibly add or remove. That doesn't work. It's only herself. I hope that makes sense. It kind of makes sense, right? But moving on here, it's going to only get more confusing from here on out. Whenever an ally is defeated or revived, Merrin gains 100% turn meter, which can't be prevented. So again, kind of a bit weird. So I guess it's this immunity versus anti-prevention clause. I'm guessing the can't be prevented supersedes the immune to turn meter gain. It's a little weird. And at the start of Merrin's turn, inflict all enemies with 1 stack of plague for 3 turns. And that's a lot. And you might be asking yourself, well, what? It's not unpreventable plague. There has to go through a potency tenacity check. The developers confirmed that the chance to apply plague, again, kind of weird. It's based off the potency of the revived character. So let's say you revive Daka. That potency that she has is gonna be the chance of applying the plague. Hopefully that makes sense. Very weird kid. Definitely you need big brain to read this one here. And then unique number 2, Vengeful Bond Zeta unlocks at gear 6. Whenever an ally is inflicted with a debuff, if Merrin has 0% turn meter, remember, her speed is set to 0. She's only really gaining turn meter in the situations she needs to. Dispel all debuffs from that ally. Holy cow, is that great. Now remember, we already have a cleanse early on. Now we have a passive cleanse as well. We were doing some trench battles, and we had a hard time making Nightsisters beat trench because of the burning, because of the shock. Well, she can cleanse that passively, so long as she's at 0% turn meter. And then she gains 25% turn meter, which can't be prevented. Again, kind of weird. If Merrin has more than 0% turn meter, she gains 10% turn meter instead, which can't be prevented. It's just wild stuff. We're going to understand it more when we play with the character later on this week on a Thursday. Whenever an enemy is damaged, all Knights allies cover 5% protection. Again, more protection cover, and we got to revisit Assage Ventures in a moment. Whenever a Knights ally is revived, grant all allies. My brain got excited. I thought it said damage immunity. It's not damage immunity. It's instant defeat immunity. So stop things like Commander Tano, Nihilus, as well as Mandalorian, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. So think of Ben Solo. And there's a 20% chance, plus 10% per relic amplifier level, max at 100%, to inflict all enemies with a stack of plague for 3 turns at the end of the turn. We had this conversation before with the Tuskens. We're not 100% sure. People think that 20% is baked into this 100%. I disagree, but I don't have facts. I'm just assuming right now. I think this is separate and independent from what's in the parentheses here. So if we believe that, this kind of, again, we've seen indication of this in other kits. This probably is alluding to possibly Relic 10, because you can't get to 100% unless Relic 0 is counted as the first stage in Relics. We don't quite know if that works that way. I'm assuming in total, you have a maximum opportunity of 120% chance, 20% chance, plus the bonus territory, because this is independent, right? You get this regardless of Relic level. Don't know. Maybe it's not really that important to know, but I figured I'd put it out there. All right, and there was a few other things that I think were important to put out here. One, they definitely do call out the possibility that this is going to be very helpful in Secrets and Shadows, if that's your thing. The Assault Battle, and just to emphasize, in case you're really mad about this Gear 12 unlock for Shadow Stride, these see it's an incredible powerful ability, and we want to avoid concepts like Peeper Zombie from creeping back into action. I'll let it slide. I just hope this isn't... I just hope this isn't going to be a thing moving forward. And in regards to the turn meter gain, very weird, right? She can't gain turn meter, but she can gain turn meter. What's going on here? They're saying it's like a Jedi Master Kima interaction. She's immune to turn meter manipulation since she can only gain turn meter in specific ways. So again, she can move her own turn meter, others can't. Merrin's own turn meter gain can't be prevented. Otherwise, she'd never take a turn in some situations. Boom. And then the instant feed immunity, we talk about that. We talk about Dark Side. And I think we all know what Plague is, a very core attribute to the whole Nightsisters all these years. All I can say is this kit gets me really hyped and excited. I'm just wondering, what are we going to handle? Now, remember, Nightsisters, they can kind of handle Grievous, kind of handle Commander Luke Skywalker. I can only assume this is going to make things against like Commander Luke Skywalker a more solidified type of counter. If we're already having all this extra Plague opportunities, the revive opportunities, instant feed opportunities, that's not going to matter against CLS. So all I know is the Nightsisters are only going to go up here. So far, the recordings for Cal Kestis have been pretty darn good. Cal Kestis is great with Rey. Sierra Junda is kind of the weakest one. She's okay. Not like God tier amazing. Time will tell. Merrin's going to be boosting up the Nightsisters. And of course, one other thing I want to put on your radar. Come on over real quick. Assage Ventures Omicron. Not really great to invest beforehand. Now is a great opportunity to have it. And as you see, I am short on Omicrons. My guild wants me to upgrade Poggle and possibly even Trench Basic. I'm not particularly happy because this means I'm probably not going to upgrade my Nightsisters for a very long time to what I want. You're getting extra max health on this Omicron, potency, tenacity, and whenever an ally or enemy is defeated, you're getting 10% turn meter. Merrin can't get that. And you're getting 25% protection recovery. The Endless Wrath is reset. And then when she uses Endless Wrath, Assage it is, you're inflicting healing immunity on the enemy, reducing their defense, reducing the enemy's max health. And she's also getting extra critical damage for each enemy with debuffs. And I'm assuming it's counting every instance of Plague. And when you're spamming tons of Plague out there, her critical damage is going to be through the frickin' roof, y'all. I know there's a lot of Nightsister fans out there. They love a good old Nightsister party. Time will tell. We'll be together if things are kept as usual. We'll be back on Thursday checking out this character. And boy, oh boy. I don't want to overhype things, but I'm actually very excited about this and understanding a bit more how all this turn meter stuff works out, baby. It's a Nightsister party, but it's always a party here in the Kyber Cove because we're open 24 extra hour, 1 extra day partying hard. Thanks to everyone who's here live. Thanks to everyone who's coming here right now after the live stream. And always remember, no matter where you are, that it's great to be in the Empire. Well, hold on. Gotta enjoy it today. We dominate. We're stronger together. 25 Bye.